to educate us and to teach us. And I'm certain that it will be worth your while. Let us put our hands together as we welcome Father. Good afternoon. Sorry for the late start, but we didn't want to leave anybody out. So, if you look at the screen, you will see an image which, if we understood the image, then the session could be over in a few minutes. Because in essence, this is the essence of inside out success, where you know the caterpillar, it goes through the process. But the key is, when we look at the cocoon, I wouldn't say that it is particularly beautiful. You agree with that? Yeah. It's not exceptionally attractive, the cocoon itself. But I don't think you can say that about the butterfly. Yeah. So the butterfly, so that's another thing about that. Inside, no matter what things appear on the surface, there is beauty inside, and it can be unlocked. And that's part of really what we're about. The other key though, and I hope that zoology majors here by step in the wrong direction. But my understanding is that in the cocoon, the butterfly cannot come out unless it flaps its wings. So it has to break out of the cocoon. So it requires effort on the part of the butterfly if it's going to come out and show its beauty. And so that's the same thing that applies to us. The message is that if we want to achieve inside-out success, we have to flap our wings. We have to flap. We have to do something in order to set our beauty free. So, having said that, we thank you for your time and wish to see you again. So, why are we still here? Okay, all right. Let me try something else then. Okay. I was amazingly faithful boxing fan. I have stopped. I don't watch it anymore because I understand the damages and so on. But believe me, during the early era, I was there. So I watched Fraser, so I watched all of these things. And then comes Kiyosaki, and he's there with Foreman. If you saw Foreman and Fraser out in the where Fraser was actually running like a little rabbit and Foreman was, you understand the power of Foreman. And here is Madman Ali. Everybody knows boxing. You know boxing, you don't get caught on the ropes because that's where you're going to be in trouble. And Ali is known as a man that floats like a butterfly, whatever, he's going all over the place. Ali is there like an idiot against the rope, going on and Foreman is sitting there. So the question that you have to say to yourself, and everybody, all his fans, maybe are in the people in his corner saying, get off the ropes, get off the ropes. He's there. Maybe he wasn't great. Maybe not. Because what he did, he broke conventional wisdom. And that success actually is something that came from inside Ali. It's not something that you would read in a textbook. It's not something that his corner was telling him to do. They were shouting, get off the ropes, get off the ropes. But he knew, that mentally and physically, he could neutralize God's Foreman's power and discipline. As a matter of fact, he used Foreman's ferociousness and his power and his energy against him. But that took courage, that took discipline. And he spent hours developing his abdominal muscles. And he's actually, because he said, I'm not going to break my heart, so I'm actually going to get in kidney in my stomach. That's inside out success. That's not something that somebody improves and go and come and do. That's something that We talk about that in a little while, but we think about the craziness about it. So, another article. Last year, right, it's last year. Boy got injured. But he was still saying, why, I'm going to win this thing. Jacqueline can't beat me. Actually, when I heard that in an interview, I said, well, trust me, you see something you can't go far. Because everything was eating up the track. You know, the time that he was running, you kind of think to yourself, well, I hear you, you're Mr. Bolt, but get better quick, because the more time you lose, the more difficult it's going to be. But he knew, that's the word I want to focus on, he knew from the inside that success was his. This triple was going to be his, and no Gatling, no whoever else was going to stop it. No entry. Again, yes, the enemies will be around, etc. But that kind of knowledge from inside, that kind of determination that you're not beating me, you're not beating me. You can swim faster than me. Those of you who watch this will understand that joke. but when it comes to running, you can't beat. Right. I'm going to take my basketball. But there was a time, February 10th last year, not last year. You was a school here, 3-1. Golden State, but 3-1. Cavaliers down 1. Now, everybody knows how maybe to some extent, in the interview, shall later on the same. Nobody. It's not even thought that in a 4-game series, you could be down 3-1 and you come back. It has never been even tried, much less so. But LeBron says, forget history. I make history. History don't make me. I make history. LeBron, against the words, knew from inside you could overcome and bring success. Quickly. You went back home, left the champion side, or close to champion side, go back home to bring the victory. So I want to talk about believe versus know. This lady, at one point in time, she believed that she had not been Lord, but in the middle of the night, she said to herself, I'm going to not been Lord. I'm going to double check. You see, no, on the right hand side, she knows she not been Lord, and therefore she can see in confidence. There's a difference between believing. I'm trying to make that difference. I don't know if anybody will see the difference. But there's a difference between I believe, I kind of believe that I'm making sense here. I'm not so sure that I know. And that's the difference. That's the difference. That there's a knowing that Ali says, you know, I'm going to do this. There's a knowing that Bolt brought to the table. And that's part of the inside of success, this capacity to know. So, is there a choice then? Because we're trying to arrange for you to achieve inside of success. Is there a chance, or can it be only certain people who could know? I'm suggesting that doubting and knowing is just a matter of a choice. You can decide whether you want to doubt or whether you want to believe. So, let us look at it now. This lady who had been with the door, if she had assisted where consistently, with a consciousness, no distraction, she went and locked up her house every night at a certain time where she's not distracted, she knows that her goals are done. She not forget about her dream in the middle of the night and say, wait, I want to do this stuff. Because she has a history of consistently locking the door without distraction. He can know that the door is locked. Yes? Agree with that? Okay. So you need to set the platform sometime in order to know. Ali did the rounds, did all of the training, so that he could know that he could withstand 4 months. So this lady is choose to know that the door is closed. But here's a confusing point that I want to share. She could also choose to know that the door is closed in blissful ignorance while the door is open. And that's thinking a little bit. She could have let it go and lie down and sleep, comfortable, not concerned about whether the door is closed or not. When the door is open, it's a matter of choice. So then, knowing sometimes incorporates a sense of ignorance, ignoring the facts. So I can be confident here that I am making sense and I'm putting out wonderful, valuable information when really I'm doing it. That's fucking foolish. But you can't tell me that because I know that I'm making sense. Yeah? So it's not all the time that knowing is actually based on reality. It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice. Yeah. So, bottom line is that people can don't confuse with the facts. Yeah? Don't confuse with the facts. Question that I have to ask you, was I aware of 4 months awesome munching power? Is it something that he knew? Did he watch 4 months Pummel Fraser who had good fights against Ali himself into like a rabbit? Did he know these things? If so, what happened? Suppose he doesn't start ignoring those facts. Sometimes we have to ignore the facts. And foolishly, if you want to put foolishly quotation marks, place yourself against the ropes and become a target for punishment. So sometimes we just have to just go against the tide. Sometimes we might appear to others as doing craziness, as being foolish, but that's part of how we're going to achieve inside our success. That's where when the teacher says to you, you will never be good at math. You can decide what you want to do with that. You can decide to buy it, or you can decide that no, it's okay. You think I'm not idiot, but I have it covered. Talk about the story. I don't remember his name now, but the same thing, this guy, his parents were even calling to say, let us set him up to do something else because this maths thing is not this. And he's sitting at the back of the class one day, he puts up his hand, there was a problem that everybody had a challenge, he puts up his hand and says, I can solve it. And of course, the class down, so they laugh. And he goes up and he solves it, and he said, this thing is not as difficult as they are making it out to be. I have to do this. So sometimes you have to be foolish. You have to avoid yourself against the rules, take the punishment, but you know where you want to go. And that is key. That is the part of the inside of success that sometimes people might see a cocoon, but you know that there's a beautiful butterfly inside, and you have to just ignore the facts. Ignore the facts. Put on your dust cap. Don't listen. What about those? Go back again and ask yourself the question. When you're seeing this interview, this man is coming off TV, he knows that last time, and Gatling is running like lightning. How could you assert, Gatling, this man will not beat me? Sometimes you just have to ignore the facts. Sometimes you have to ignore the facts. Yeah? So, look at some people who ignore the facts. You know this lady, right? This lady is the Harry Potter lady who earns millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Okay? Tina Fey, for me, her greatest fame is that she did the serial killer thing. But like Oprah, you realize that Oprah now has her own television station. And they were, and they decided they were on that TV with Oprah. They have to watch this one here, that he was, after the she was declared bankrupt. But Walt Disney was fired, I have it in the sermon, was fired as a reporter because of lack of what? Creativity. Editor fired him and said this man has no creativity. Walt Disney. So you have to understand that sometimes you just have to just ignore the facts. Ignore the facts. And just be stupid. Be stupid. Just refuse to accept reality. And that's part of what happens. And that's by the way how some of the creativity comes along. Is that people don't just do not accept that things are what people say they are. And it might sound stupid. Yes? So that's how, for example, Columbus spoke up on the West Indies and discovered as well. Just get lost. Right. So, I must say in the truth, so I don't know. Okay, I am the greatest and I am the legend. That knowing from deep inside, that is the spark. That is the spark that gives you the drive. What it gives you the drive to do? Not just to be successful automatically, but it gives you a drive to work harder and work smarter. And that in turn, having worked hard, having worked smart, now you have the confidence and you can say, well, that will not be good. That is what happens. You don't say that sitting down on the beach and, not being serious. That is where you put in the hours. That is where you put in the midnight hours. That's where we can say, yes, we are confident, we know. And you spend hours running, morning, noon and night before that fight. And he had sparring partners who were beating him in his stomach night, time after time after time. And that is how we knew that, yes, Ali Komale. Yeah. It doesn't come from just hoping and wishing. Right. So, I'm suggesting that to know is to do. And knowing brings with it actions. Has to bring with it actions. You can't know unless you have the battlefield. That's what I'm saying to you. It's not just all water, it's not just a banter. You have to put action to it. And it is on that basis that the facts are separated. So, there we go. Knowing that I'm the greatest means that I have to put in the gym work. I have to do the road work. I have to mentally put myself in a place where I don't feel the pain anymore. Because believe you me, 4 months wasn't happy. It's not like wrestling where you have to perform things. It's getting some good thing. And then you have to just numb yourself to that pain and move on. Yeah? So also, both have to make up the time. Have to make up the time. You ever believe that nothing is good thing is a natural, whatever? Yeah, but natural also needs hard work. I don't know if you have seen like in this movie where he has almost like a tractor pulling behind him. It's not easy. When you see the nice fancy thing there is work that goes into it. So, same thing with LeBron. That knowing that he can rewrite history means that you have to rally the team to give extra effort. You have to also get to the place where you know that whatever it takes, someone, Clay and Curry can be showing in 3-pointers like layup, but we have to still beat them. That's comes from inside. That's not training, that's not whatever it is somebody suggests to you. That comes from inside. And that's what we're talking about. And somewhere or another, you have to find in you this butterfly that's shut up. That means to just grab its and come on. Right? So, what do I do? since knowing means action, what do I do? I would suggest the first step is to find out where you are. Yeah? Examine yourself. Know basically where you are in life. Just sit down and do some kind of an inventory. What am I skillful at? What are my aspirations? What would I like to do? When I look at others, what is it that I'm supposed to envy? But what is it that I admire about them? And just look and see. So that's the first step. The next step then is some aspect. You can't look at all areas of your life, but look at some aspect, maybe your relationship. What is it that I could do at the next level? If I were to improve my relationship, what's the next level upwards? That's a suggestion. If it is academics, what's the next level? If it is money, what's the next level? I don't want you to reach for the stars here. Just think about the next level. Right? What would it be that if I could step up one step in whatever area? My spiritual life, my love life, my whatever. Career, what's the next level? Just the next level. Don't go too far. Don't go too far. Right? I don't want you to get frustrated. I don't want you to go to because of 5 years or 2 years. I just want you to look at the very, very next level. So, then, having done that, do a gap analysis. Look at that level and where you are now, and then document line by line what is different about that level and where you are now. So with your so far, so you want to look at yourself so you know where you are. You're going to look at something that you aspire towards. Some area of your life that you think, okay, maybe I could improve here. And then you're going to document what that is like. Compare that to where you are, and then you will know what to work on. And then, what is it that you need then to fill those gaps? So having identified the gaps, what are the things that you have to do? Relationship, do you need a counselor? Do you need more time away from work? Do you, whatever, I don't know what it is. Academics, do you need again extra lessons? Do you need to go to more classes and not school all of them? What is it that you need to do in order to just go to the next level? I'm not talking about reaching for the stars, just the next level. And then, having done that, what will do? Spend the time on filling the gaps. So, those are the thoughts that I want to share. What's going to happen now is that we're going to have 3 more presentations. 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. And then we're going to have open question and answer. And there are no boundaries for the question and answer. We're just going to just ask you to share. So if you have any questions on mind, maybe we should wait until the end. But then I can ask you if that is the preferred thing, or would you rather that we have a 5-minute question and answer, include somebody like audience, etc. Okay, I think I see some here that a few minutes now. Any questions or comments on what I have shared? Let them write it down, somebody says, but it's a democracy. Okay, all right. Nobody has a question anyway, so. All right. Okay, we are going to introduce our next speaker in just a minute. Doubt or no? Is it a choice? Is it a matter of choice? Knowing also comes with, start with C. Consistency, in case you never write that down. I wrote it down. Knowing does not necessarily mean it is a, you can get a prize for the answer by the way. Knowing does not mean it necessarily comes with a fact. Knowing does not necessarily mean it is a fact rather. Sometimes you may need to ignore the facts and just work with what you know. I'm going to present the answer and I don't understand that. To know is to do. Okay then.
So what to do? Examine yourself to gain clarity as to where you are. Reflect on the next level. Okay, now we're getting into the group. Very good. And you must do a back analysis. Gap analysis. Right. Now after that, you must write down what you need to do to fill the gap. Excellent. And then you, after writing, what must you do? Fill the gap. Fill the gap. The gap. So you're doing very, very well. Excellent. Give yourself a round of applause. Excellent. Excellent. I almost want to ask you if you can give me 4 persons at age 23 who seek to understand. Did I tell you what you can do? Now listen to you want to listen to something that you right. What's the first one? Chemistry, who's the chemistry? Okay, okay. Let's give you another big round of applause. Let's teach you very well. Our next presenter is Dr. Leela Aquine Dehaney. She's chairman of the Nursing Council of Jamaica, former chief nursing officer at Ministry of Health in Jamaica. She's past chairman of the regional nursing body, CARICOM. She's a member Sigma, I can't pronounce those 2 words, Theta Tau International. She's facilitator of the Young Ladies Development Class at the Modern Day Church of Christ. She is married and her husband is a minister of religion. And we want to put our hands together as we welcome our beautiful sister, Dr. Leela Aquine.
No. Yes. Use it for. No, okay. Because I didn't need to try to.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, young, old, and in between. It really is a tremendous pleasure for me to be here to spend a few minutes sharing with this audience this evening. I think that the matter under discussion, the whole matter of success, is very important, very relevant, and very apt at this time, because I think as a country, a nation, a church family, we sometimes see ourselves really standing on the side of failure, and too often that happens. And so as we talk this evening about success, the keys, the success that comes really from within, I am really happy that I'm here to share with you. And I want to recognize in this audience a group of young children that I have brought with me from Randley. And it was not by accident that they got here, it was by design. Because at this point in time, we have been focusing on our young. And I've taken up the challenge to look at our young ladies and to encourage them on the path of success. So we have what's called a young ladies developmental class, and they're here this evening, and they have an assignment for being here. They're not just here for their pretty looks or for a drive out from the country. As we think of success, I want us to ask ourselves exactly what are we measuring? What does success mean to me? What does success mean to you? Because it might not have the same connotation to all of us. And I think as we approach life and as we speak to the issues surrounding life, we really have to determine in our mind what exactly is success. Because there are times, as was pointed out before, we are actually in a spot or in a place in our lives where all we could see is failure. Some of these persons that Brother Smith talked about earlier on were really standing in the ground of failure. And it's out of that ground of failure that success emerged. So, as I think about it, and I want you to also think with me, there really is a very thin line between failure and success. And what drives success many times is actual failure that drives success. And so we have to look at success as a people. We have to look at success from the point of view that it might have emerged out of a situation that we think was not good for us. And having said that, we are able now to measure where we are based on probably where we're coming from. And if where we're coming from was not a good place as we would want to emphasize it for ourselves, then any incremental step from that position is success. I want to see success as a developmental, from a developmental standpoint, in that it is something that we are working on from somewhere of probably zero, moving forward to infinity. I don't know how long we will be here, but I would suggest that it is an ongoing process. And success can occur at any point in our development, in our human development. The psychologists have a lot to say about how we develop. And they talk about our state that in the first 5 years of our lives, we are already, the page is already written as to how we are going to proceed in life. Our characteristics, the things that are important to us are already there. And how we develop and how we work on them is what will measure likely what we call success or failure in life. I want to suggest too that our successes can come early in life. And that's it. Finish. No more after that. It might come in midlife, or it might come later life, or it might come, our successes might be strewn throughout our lives. But they do appear or occur at points, and when success comes, we are validated. And the thing about us in life is that we really need validation. And one of the areas or the persons or the situations that we can benefit from in terms of validation is really ourselves. Sometimes if we sit and wait for others to validate us for our success, we will never be successful in life. Because in truth and in fact, people don't know sometimes what we are needing to validate us. They have no idea of where our weaknesses lie. They have no idea of where we want to go in life. It may be just coincidental that the book of our we did say we're looking for. And then they say something nice to us and we say, great, I feel good today. I really feel good, you know. Boy, Brother Michael tell me something nice and I really feel like myself today. Hello, the fact is that Brother Michael might not even have known that he validated me, and that has now led me to the place where I think I can change myself or I can become a successful person. So what are the inputs of success? What are the inputs into this little caterpillar that we've been looking at that would allow it to be a butterfly? I think it's very important that we recognize if we don't have inputs, we can't have throughputs, and we will never have outputs. And if success is going to be our output, then the inputs have to be of such quality and such standards that it does what it is purported to do. Right. So some of the inputs I want to share with us this evening may be of a biological nature. And I start with a biological nature because there are many times that we determine that a person is not going to be a success simply because there are some qualities biologically that they have or don't have, which we determine that that person will never be successful. If we look at the work that is being done with persons who are challenged mentally or physically, we recognize that those people, once they may have something biologically going wrong, but if there are inputs in their lives, trust me, I can never go at any Olympics because there will be nothing. But you see what can happen when you have Special Olympics? That's a good example of success. People are not relegated to the dump of life simply because they have one hand or one foot or one eye or one ear. No, there are certain things that once we focus on them and once we strive to develop those things, that little caterpillar inside is going to burst through and become as beautiful as you can ever want that caterpillar to become. Are there psychological issues, psychological inputs that were not there or ought to have been there to facilitate that caterpillar's movements? Many of us may have grown up in circumstances and situations where all we hear is, boy, what do you? I say, you're ugly. How you feel about your father, son? Girl, the only thing about you is that you're going to breathe. Hello. These inputs have negative psychological impact on our children. And so their potential to succeed is going to be reduced. In fact, if you big up your children, from them can hear your voice, you are putting them in a place of success. You're putting them in a place of success. And I want to suggest to the parents here today to understand that your input in your child's life from a psychological perspective and from a social perspective has already decided if they are going to fail or succeed. Trust me, parents have a great deal of impact on their children. And if parents and those who are significant in the lives of the children don't understand that they are grooming them for success in life, then the inputs at that level are already negating their success. I want to suggest that the environmental factors, the environmental situations that our children face from time to time puts them at a disadvantage for success. That caterpillar struggling so hard to come out of that cocoon, and we just clamp it down in there because we don't understand that the things in our environment, whether they be things that are toxic to them in their minds or on their bodies, destroy them. I want to suggest, as parents, as older people, as a society, as a community, as a family, as a church, we recognize the serious environmental disasters that are out there limiting success for our children. Whether it is the rum that them start. Listen up. Every time I walk, I see a young man with a little plastic cup in his hand. And I hear that is cup time. Them not walk around with the beer bottle again, you know. Them throw it out in a cup. Them just look crisp with them little cup, plastic a sell. Right? Plastic a sell, much to the destruction of the youth. I know there's a whole world of ganja out there that we're going to talk about shortly. But hello, what is it that we are grooming our children for? Are we grooming our children that that little caterpillar is just going to stay in that chrysalis, in that cocoon state, whatever you call it, and then just die, and we just walk around and say, oh, these little dead things around the place, and we don't know that that was really what the caterpillar was supposed to come out of, what the butterfly was supposed to come out of? Do we want some scientists to come look around us and say, neighbor, look for the amount of failed caterpillars around the place, of pure incrustations all around. Let me study it to see what it is all about. Guess what happened? Those should have been our butterflies, all dead, all fixed where we left them. So, as I wrap up now, when do these inputs begin? Even before birth. The fight for success of our children, the fight for success of our adults begin even before conception. Because if you're not wanted before, it's like you're not going to be wanted afterwards. And if you're not wanted when you come here, the possibilities of failure are great, very great. Success can be incremental. Let us remember something, that it's not about the 10 CXCs at level 1. Before you get there, you've had to pass your GSAT. You've had to pass your test after every unit in school. You've had to do things so that you can reach the pinnacle of your success within that sphere. And I want us to understand that we can have points of success. Points of success. In other words, it's not every day that we are going to be successful in everything that we do. But if we have points of success, it's an encouragement for us to move on to the next point of success. If you don't overcome, you can't continue. You're dead before you even born. I want us to understand that we have episodes of success. You might not see it written in any book. Trust me. It's my mind telling me that. You understand? My mind tells me that from time to time, we have episodes of success. When things go right, we make the right decisions, and what we do turn out to be positive and meaningful and exactly how we wanted them. But then, there are times when it doesn't happen that way. But we are still successful if we can recognize that it is not happening that way, and we can put interventions in place to make it happen that way. I want us to remember, as I close, that we must groom our children and ourselves for success. We hear about sexual grooming. We are grooming people for everything. We have to groom them for success, and not success that is measured only in how much we make. Trust me, I believe I'm successful and I don't have no money. Yes, we understand financial success, and we need to move towards financial success. It is an imperative. All of us cannot sit down in here smiling and poor. We need to have some rich ones, and I would suggest all of us get rich. But I don't want us to limit what we do to the things that are related only to how you get paid or how you give pay. I want us to recognize that there are things that will enhance our success. And one of the things that will enhance our success in life is our relationship with each other. If we don't have good relationships with each other, we are actual failures as people. Thank you so much.
I think we can do better than that. I hope I can make out what I have right here. What are we measuring? What does it mean to us? What drives success? Is actual failure. It may emerge from a place where a place of failure, of course. And then Dr. McQueen mentioned, Dehaney rather, mentioned that success can be, so an I, incremental, that there are steps to measure success, that we already have the qualities, but we must build on those qualities. She mentioned that we also need what's up with B. Validation. Very, very good. Over there. Just write down your names, all those who are getting the things, because we can give you something after. Please write down the names, put up your hand, I can see your face. Remember your face, do a man before you. But anyways, and validation need to come from where? From inside. I thought that was very powerful. What are the inputs? Give me the different inputs there. Inputs. Throughputs. Never get throughputs. That's a new one for me. Throughputs and outputs. Very, very good. Okay, those who get in the car. We need to give us some expensive stuff here now. We mentioned that, and of course, the biological and the psychological, the physical challenges would be the biological, the psychological would be the negative reinforcements that we give to our children, especially as parents, and the things that are said to them. When does the input begin? It begins before birth. Very, very good. Before conception. You're doing very well. The points of success, episodes of success that was mentioned, groom ourselves and children for success, and our relationship with each other is a key one. Our relationship, that was one of the last points. What did she say about our relationship with each other? It's a key ingredient to what? To having success. Our relationship with each other. Give yourself a round of applause. But give Dr. McKinney an even bigger round of applause. Now, our next speaker is Brother Alfonso Brenner. I don't like that name, Alfonso. It's Alfonso Brenner. Right, our Brother Alfonso Brenner. He's a successful entrepreneur, a public speaker, social activist. He's the evangelist for St. Anne Church of Christ. He conceptualized and has driven Brunel's driving school to be the leading advocate and provider of driver safety training and related services. Let us put our hands together as we welcome our speaker, Brother Alfonso Brenner. something in which certain things are said after you've finished speaking, so they can qualify and modify some of the things that I said. So just in case you don't live up to the expectations, like public speaker and all that sort of thing, all right? Are you the public and I'm speaking? So I'm speaking. I'm really, really excited to be here this evening to share on the subject, keys to inside out success. I think one of the main ingredients to keys to inside out success, even though Brother Smith might have modified it a little bit, but I think it is determined faith and a clear conviction that we possess a God-given potential to be successful in life in spite of our circumstances and our situations. I'm just going to do my presentation in terms of stories. So I hope everybody inside here likes stories. I want to really break it down in different phases. I want to look at a young man just at about the age of 16. Why I'm doing this because it has to do with inside out success. Sister Danny, Dr. Danny, spoke about inputs. There was a young man, when he was 16, there was a gentleman by the name of S.L. Palmer who saw something in this 16-year-old and decided he's going to input in him something that he probably don't even recognize that he might possess. So he started to call him doctor. Then he started to call him lawyer. The 16-year-old at this time couldn't read. So you have to get the context of the input. You want to go with it? So if somebody come up to you, you can't read, and then the person starts to call you doctor, that doesn't sound right, does it? At 16? Now if it's a medical doctor, then you need to at least about 16, you're doing some biology, some sister over there, some chemistry, possibly physics, have your math, have your English. But you wonder how and what will this input does for this person. And I hope you're following the story, because the story is important. I had the experience of going to a school about a month ago to visit two little girls. When I got there, I spoke to the vice principal and said, how are my two girls doing? Because everybody thought that I'm the father of these two girls. Not at all. Sister girl is here. Not at all. I have two sons. So I said to her, how are they doing? She said, they're not doing so well. I said, why? She said, did you know that we're missing from school for 2 years? 2 years, they did not go to no school at all. They're 10-year-old girls, they're twin girls, but they missed school for 2 years. Just imagine that impact in their lives, missing for school for 2 long years. The 16-year-old didn't miss any school learning. I couldn't read at 16, so we don't know what transpired in all of these years. But we'll move on with this young man. And I just need to point out something as it relates to inside out success. People can believe in you, but if you don't believe in yourself, it won't make much of a difference, don't it? People will call you big names. People will see you as being great, see you with great potential and wonderful possibilities. Amazing greatness in your life. But do you believe it? Have you ever seen people with real wonderful potential, but they are almost nothing? They are not making any positive contribution, even though you said, I remember when we were at primary school together. I remember when we were high school together. Oh, great he was. But if you don't believe in you, so all of this speaking about being doctor and lawyer, if the person you're speaking to don't accept that as theirs, all of these happenings like tread water and ducks back. We first, if we're going to be successful by any stretch of the imagination, by any means at all, have to first accept our ability to be great. You have to, otherwise you won't. Let me just tell you about the 16-year-old. What happened? He decided that there must be some sense in what the person is saying. So he decided he was going to believe what the person was saying. And therefore, he carefully started to do some things that would change his life. As he started his working life, he decided he was going to conduct bus. Everybody know about the backup man now? The person. There's a difference. The backup man is the person who normally takes the things and put in a one bus, or put it in a one bus, and you're in another bus. But he decided that he was going to conduct bus. You know what was amazing about this young man? While he was on the bus, everybody that comes to the bus didn't know that he was the conductor. He dressed good. He smells good to be near. The only thing that was left is for him to put on a tie and a jacket while conducting the bus. So he would step out of the bus and the passengers would say, "Where's the doctor?" And then he said, "I'm the doctor." Then the point here is that even though he transcended and started to do other things, he realized that if he's going to be successful at anything, even if he's conducting a bus, he must be the best conductor there is. Oh, that sound. Talking about success now, because right now we don't see success in just some wonderful package named lawyers or doctors. We have to be careful that we don't confine people to and limit them. While he was conducting the bus, let me just tell you a story about this. He tried to tell about this doctor. While he was conducting the bus, the owner man who drives the bus decides he gets 9 cents out of the 10 cents. So out of the dollar, he gets 10 cents or 1 cent, and the owner got 9. So every trip he makes to Kingston from Mandeville, the owner man will take the money. Say, "May I have all the money?" Give him the money. So when he get back to Mandeville, ask for all the money. Give him all the money. When we come for him to get his pay, man gave him some money. He said, "But this is not my pay." It doesn't mean it's not your pay. The young man said to him, "When we stop in Kingston, I gave you $10. When we stop in Mandeville, I gave you 10. So how much is 10% of that? So I need to get my 10%. You know what the man said? Your 10% buy gas. Out of your 10% is also. So people use you when you want to make the best of your life. Then this young man jumped to another place to work. While he was there, he was actually called a dreamer. So he left the minibus work, went to another place. He was called a dreamer. Because while he was working, he always not thinking that where he was the place he was going to stay. So one day the boss man came to him and said, "Do you know the story of Lot's wife?" And the young man said, "Yes, I know." And then he said, "Just think about it. The truth is, Sister Leela talked about incremental success. Every stage of your life is a different phase. Make the best of it." So while I was there, I dreamed on, and there was some interesting thing in my life at that stage. When I got home, the young man, you're listening too well. One day this young man got home from this other place where he was a dreamer, and he was given a letter and said, "Oh, there's a job offer for you at a place that is called JTC. Anybody remember what JTC stands for? What? Jamaica Telephone Company? Wow! Then of course that company changed to TOJ, Telecommunication of Jamaica. Then CNW, Cable and Wireless. Then it changed to Line, then it changed, I heard it's now Flow, and that means follow, line, always. I don't know, I wasn't there when it became Flow, But the thing is, what is fascinating about Inside Out Success is determination. While I was there for the first 11 years at Kidman Wallace, I was in a classroom every year. I realized I had to play catch up. You see, it's one thing to accept where you are. It's another thing to want to do something about where you are. And I decided, no, this is enough. I'm here at a place where there are opportunities. And I'm going to make the best use of it. Of course, came a time when Kidman Wallace decided that they're going to make some people redundant. And if anybody here from Digicel, I heard that there's approximately 1,500 a person will be made redundant in the next year. Take it from me, there's life after redundancy. First of all, they don't redundant you, they're redundant position. I want us to take note of that. Nobody can make you redundant but yourself. And as a result, I decided I'm going to start work that if anybody's going to make me redundant, it's going to be myself. So I decided to mind my own business. Anything wrong with that? Nothing wrong with minding your own business. I mean, start your own business. So I decided that I'm going to start my own business, and God has been good. Truly, truly good. I remember a company, a big organization called me once to give us a job, and they said, do you offer a special program? And we have never offered a program, I believe. And then I said to the person, how many person you have? He said, one. I said, do you know anybody else need to be trained? The person said, yeah, I know one more. I said, all right. I get back in touch with you within a week. We did the course. This is a course that we have never done before. We took on the challenge. We got 14 people, each person paying $700 US. For 2 days, don't do the math, please. The bottom line is, sometimes what we see as barriers is opportunities. You have balloons with the wall, walk it down. I mean, break it down. If you can't break it down, walk around it. If you're good at climbing, climb over it. But it doesn't have to be a wall that's going to stop us from achieving inside out success. And finally, there's a lady that I love dearly. I really, really love her. Because after becoming very weak, after becoming very tired, and after becoming financially bankrupt, she decided that I must have a but-if moment. She said, if I but touch the hem of the garment, that's inside people, that's deep. This woman had an issue of blood. For 12 years, she became bankrupt. All the money that she had, she spent it on Dr. Bill. She had no more. Losing blood means that you might very well become very weak. For 12 years. And she decided, the crowd won't stop me. I won't stop me. Because you know, a lot of time we stop ourselves. You ever talk to yourself negatively? We can't do that. That's not me. That's not up my street. I'm not that talented. No, they're talking about somebody else. This woman did not allow that. She said, if I but touch the hem of his garment, I know I'm going to reach success. But this woman's success means no more bleeding. Success comes in different ways. This evening, I don't know what and where you are in your life in terms of success. Alfonso Grenell, the young man in the story, was not self-made. Was never self-made. There's a lot of people who inputted, if you will, in my life. A lot of people, my family, my co-workers at Grenell's, church people, have held my hands and take me along. All of us need some of those people in our lives. And if you want inside success, don't let people define you. Don't let people tell you that you can't do this and you can't do that. God has given us great, great abilities and potential. All we need to do is to use them. Thank you. Boy, I'm telling you, already I think I should have paid. Nobody has not paid? Nobody has paid when I was coming in? Okay, let's give him a big round of applause. I think he did excellently well. Excellent. I don't know if we can get a little light here, but I love it. Don't you love this story? The 16-year-old boy. I don't know if he can relate to that 16-year-old boy, but really and truly, that's just wonderful. And the wonderful idea about the input, or sometimes you can make inputs in our lives, because of what they see in us. And so this person called him doctor. I'm already seen, by the way, don't finish here. There's still a good doctor in there. But anyways, notwithstanding though, just because of what somebody sees in you, and the statement that that person's made, it makes you feel good, it makes you feel valuable, it makes you feel important, and as a result of that, you put out the effort. And so we are so elated to know the kind of success that we see in him today. Indeed, we spoke about the 10-year-old person who had been in school for 2 years, but people will believe in you, but we also need to learn to believe in ourselves. We need to accept our ability to be great. The 16-year-old rather, started to conduct bus. He believed that that he should do so, and to do so at his best ability. So guess the fact. No, he did not. Nobody knew he was a conductor, but notwithstanding, I tell you what, he was doing the best that he could, and we are so elated at his success. It does not mean that people will not what? Use you. But just because you put yourself out there and do your best, people will still take advantage of you. He was a dreamer. He went to different companies to telecommunication of Jamaica, and then to what does flow mean? It's like I don't got over here, so I'm not hearing about over here. So give me enough flow. I'm not hearing about over here, I don't. But he used a word, he started with D, that was a wonderful measure for his success. What was that word? No, listen, if you want something, if you want your gift, you have to say it out loud. And everybody can give after you. Yes, man, because I feel successful people inside here. Yeah, we can pay for you, that's right. What was the word? All right, I see who talk and who don't talk, so don't bother bad man people when some walk over them stuff. But quickly here, nobody can make you redundant but yourself. Sometimes we need to see our barriers, but we also need to break them down and use them as opportunities. We need to have a but God moment. Again, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Brother Albert. Okay, we have two more speakers. This speaker, his name is Brother Paul Blake. He's in we share a similar profession. Let's put it that way. But he's a motivational speaker, he's a counselor, he's a minister of religion, he's director of Words Worth It Motivational Speaking and Training. Paul has a keen interest in the transformation of people's lives, helping them to become the individuals they were meant to be. He is also an author for his second book is coming out, but his first book was Words to Inspire, Model 1, Volume 1, sorry. Again, Brother Paul Blake.
Good afternoon, everybody. All right, when you started the story also. A lot of you know me, but I don't think any of you know my story. I did common entrance in 1986, a long time ago. But when I did common entrance, I had 3 chances to do common entrance. They didn't send me up for the first 2. I started at grade 2, and I started what they call the dunce class. Today they call it slow learners. That time everybody called them slow learners, they call them dunce. I was considered to be chief of the dunce class. From grade 2 right up to grade 6. That was the class that I was in. My mother is a teacher by profession, and my mother decided that grade 6 at the time we continue like that. So my mother took me to the class where all of the bright children were. My mother told the teacher that, I think the boy can learn. I don't know what to do, but I know he can learn. My mother said to the teacher, spare nothing, only save the eye. Didn't come on entrance. After stopped grade 5, I didn't read in grade 5, didn't read the first in grade 6 either. So when I did the third time, first and the third time, when the exam result came out, I looked on the Manchester High School and I didn't see my name. I looked on the Catholic College, didn't see my name either. I looked on the Bishop Gibson High School, didn't see my name. Bishop Gibson are all of them. Didn't see my name there. So, by this time I'm very dejected and everything because you feel people in exam. But by this time I see my mother coming through the gate and my mother is all smiles. I said to her, but this woman must knock her head hard somewhere because I feel the exam and she is overjoyed and elated. I said, Mommy, I feel the exam. Mommy said, no. I said, I look on the Carter, I look on the Manchester, I look on the Bishop Gibson, I don't see my name. Mommy had a paper, Mommy said, you look on the Knox College? I said, no. When I look on Knox College, my name was there. I did so many names and I got a scholarship to Knox College. So the school was there. I transferred from Knox to Manchester, I said, so I ended up at Manchester. I didn't do very well. My parents got the most, I was in third form. So 2 years went down the drain from me, but had an impact on me. So by the time I did 6 years, I had a passport. Mommy again. Mommy went to the principal and said that, I think he has to repeat. After that by this time I had all plans to go into the world. Mommy says, you're going to repeat fifth form. So I repeated fifth form and got 4 more subjects on the that I had. All of this time. The one thing that kept me going was Mommy always saying to me that you can do it. When I went to UA, it's the first time I ever see an A on a report card. I went to university and I got upper second class honors. And this is somebody who could not even put a sentence together. Just because somebody was saying to me that you can do it. And I can't forget my father. My father is one of those persons who did not get to go to high school. But my father is one of the most brilliant minds that you can think of. He's a jack of all trades and he's a master of every one of them. And he was one of the persons that kept driving me. He used to get thick, but that's alright, I never die. I want to take this from a different angle. I love to use the word purpose. And what I'm going to share with you is simple this. Step into your purpose. The greatest tragedy in life is for someone to die without a purpose. The most intentions that are available in this world, you know where they find them? The graveyard. Almost everybody that died with a good intention. Almost everybody that died with something, some passion in them that they wanted to achieve and did not achieve it. Most of the time because of fear. Just think of yourself. What am I placed here to do? What great change can I make in this world? I'm going to pass through this life only once. And when I pass through this life, I don't want to be a statistic. I want to leave an imprint on the sands of time. And I can only do that if I find my purpose. Don't settle for living in the shadows. And that's one of our problems. We like to live in the shadows. We like to see everybody else achieve, and we like to beat them up and give them accolades and everything. But what about me? What about me? Why should I settle for living in the shadows of somebody else when I'm also a child of grace? One of the things about life and achievements is that it begins with a dream. You have to dream. And by the way, I don't dream small dreams. I have no time to dream small dreams. I dream big dreams. I dream dreams that people consider, as a matter of fact, I dream that means sometimes consider impossible. Because it's only when you dream big that you have something to reach forward towards. And every time that you dream and achieve something brilliant, it gives you somewhere else to go. So let us dream. Dream big. Give yourselves 2 reasons to wake up every day. 2 reasons to wake up every day. If you give yourself 2 reasons, you don't have to find 3. One of them, I have not yet achieved what I was meant to achieve. And that is the most important one. If you wake up on that premise every day, then it gives you some objective to go towards. 2 things that you should dream of, that you should wake up to. The desire to pursue your greatness and finding your purpose. Another thing, negative pronouncements. I don't keep company with negative people. Let me say that loud and clear. I don't keep company with negative people. The minute I know that you are negative, I gone. Because when you have negative persons around you, you kind of feed into their energy. And some people are parasites. They will suck the life out of you. And I find that about negative persons. If you want to be a negative person, just find... but by the way, you know that rich people only walk with rich people. Rich people only associate with people that are like-minded. People who are smart usually associate with what? Smart people. And fools usually what we do. Alright. So, negative pronouncements, irrelevant people, not everybody that you have in your space is good for you. Some people are just simply toxic. And you need to get rid of them. Chart your own course. Believe and live your purpose. If you don't believe in your dream, nobody else will believe in it but you. Even if nobody else believes it, just make sure that you believe it. Negativity is a disease. It eats away at purpose and ambition until there's nothing left but regret and failure. I know too many people who reach the prime of their life and look back and regret it. They never do this, they never do that. I wish I was 20 years younger. I wish I had a life, a whole other life to live. Lord, man, what about now? My father left university in England when he was 60 years old. My father is 65. My father went to university and studied how to repair train. My father is now in England working on trains. 60. My mother went to teachers college at 56 years old. Graduated when she was 60 also, retirement age. My mother, means she's not teaching, but I'm telling you, she has enjoyed every moment of college. And her kids encouraged her, because after she had said 5 hours to high school with daddy, he said, Mommy, it's your time now. Mommy said, boy, I see, can I go back to school? I said, yes, Mommy, go on. I tell her, Mommy, she struggled those 4 years in college, but trust me, she ended up with her degree. It's never too late. So that thing that you're passionate about now, look here, stop telling yourself that, boy, we're too old and, this and that. Go out and do it. Yeah, every time I remember Krista is my friend, by the way. Krista is sitting right here. I don't know how Krista ended up in China. Only God knows how Krista ended up in China. But if Crystal didn't believe that she would end up in China, I can tell her she would not have been here. And Crystal went to China and spent 2 years. I have a friend who started off in April. And, you know, Cheryl, like me, in high school didn't do very well. But Cheryl always wanted to be a doctor. I mean, when Cheryl did A-levels, her grades did not get her review. And the program in Cuba came up. And Cheryl said that, oh, Paul, I went to have to go to Cuba and spend 7 years. As a matter of fact, 8, because I went to learn the language, I don't speak Spanish. So Paul, I don't really think I'm going because it's 8 long years as a Cheryl here. If you don't go 8 years, you'll pass, and if you go 8 years, you'll still pass. And Cheryl went to Cuba for 8 years, got her medical degree, and now was a private practice in Haiti. All because she dared to step into her purpose. Train your mind to believe that you are a person full of purpose and potential. You know, Brother Glenn and myself were talking. And let me warn parents. Be careful what you tell your children. Be careful what you tell your children. I had to tell a parent just 2 weeks ago. Young man came into my office for counseling. And he was just very angry. And after I talked to him, I realized that the problem was not him but his mother. I mean, she called the young man Janka. She called him demon. She told him that him look like him with nothing papa. I said, but lady, look here. If you call your son a Janka and he start behaving like Janka, why you surprised? If you call him Janka, then sooner or later he went to behave like him a Janka. And when you end up with a Janka, you don't complain. Because that is what you have always been telling him. And so even as parents, we have to be very careful what we tell our children. I tell my son, there is no word by the name of can't. That word does not exist. Can't, come on, Brother King is a bad word. For every situation, there's a way to get around it. For every challenge, there's a way to get over the challenge. For every obstacle, there's some way to move it. All that you have to do is to believe that you are a person of purpose and potential. Lastly, purpose is driven by a desire to move beyond your comfort zone. Many of us, why we don't achieve, is that we become too comfortable where we are. We don't like challenges. The minute something presents itself like an obstacle. I mean, I remember when I just decided to start a business. Lord Master, before I even register the company with the government, I don't know how you can, start business but you owe people. So when I look at the amount of money that I would owe the government potentially, I said, but look here, this don't make no sense. I mean, I don't start the business yet and I go owe government over $100,000. What kind of sense that make? Well, I say, you know what? If I don't do it, it's not, I mean, I'm going to die knowing that I wanted to do something and didn't do it. I said, boy, if I will start it and it fails, boy, I will start something else after. And you know what I did? When I registered the business, and somewhere in the middle of it, I decided to change it. That's why I'm the right people. I sat down, I write all of these quotes, and I decided that, you write all of these things, and people say they're so good. I just put them in a book. And I started writing the book. And from writing the book, ended up doing another one. I was very elated when Raquel carried up to work. And Mr. Dalwell told Raquel that he wanted 16 copies of the book. We were talking about validation. What that said to me that somebody out there is willing to read what you are writing. It might not sound good to anybody else, but somebody out there is going to be appreciative of what you have achieved. So when we talk about our purpose, everybody can appreciate what you have achieved, but somebody out there is going to be willing to learn from that which you have achieved. Today, step into your purpose. Thank you.
Somebody is going to appreciate your purpose. somebody. Let's give Paul another big round of applause. Sorry, Paul, but from Gums class to success, to author, to renowned speaker, to motivational speaker, to having your own business. You, sir, is a success story to and for the rest of us. Excellent. And Sister Dehay has mentioned how children, but parents rather, have to be careful of the things that they say to their children. And we see a wonderful example here where Paul's parents had such a marvelous impact in his success. Step into your purpose, and and that statement, many persons die with what kind of intentions? With good intentions. We need to be willing to leave our footprints where? Not one easy. In the sand, okay? We must be willing to dream. What kind of dreams? Big dreams. Give yourself 2 reasons to wake up. What are the 2? Huh? I can't hear you. Go louder. Very, very, very good. Excellent. We must not keep company with what kind of people? Negative people. They can be what? Our team. Toxic. Of course, believe and live your purpose. Don't live your life with regrets. It's never too late, and he gave examples of his parents and as it relates to what they have achieved near retirement age or pretty much in retirement age. That was so beautiful. Train your mind to believe that you can achieve. Very, very good. Purpose is the ability to move beyond what? Purpose is just don't get our but purpose is the ability to move beyond our comfort zone. Very, very good. Excellent. Excellent. And the final one is that somebody will appreciate your what? Your purpose, what else? Your success. Whatever you set out to do. Not everybody is going to be on board, but there's somebody out there who wants to read your story. Let's give them another big round of applause. Okay, our final presenter is our beautiful sister. I want to say she was made by us and sent on the Church of Christ. She's a part of the Smiths family, Brother Smith's eldest daughter. She's a senior vice president. She is an international best-selling author. She is a motivational speaker. She is a philanthropist. She's an expert in transforming environments and developing leaders. She collaborates with executive management in Fortune 500 rather. It should be 5,000, but 500 companies. Let us put our hands together as we welcome online our beautiful sister, Sister Carrie S. Smith.
Great, thank you, Andre. I appreciate the warm welcome there. Just give me a moment. I'm just going to put my presentation up. Okay, just confirming that you can see my first slide here.
It's good.
Okay, great. All right, good evening, everyone, and very happy to be part of this great session. And as Andre said, definitely feel like I'm speaking to family. I wish I could be there with you in person. I'm here in very cold New York City. We're 37 degrees Fahrenheit, but we shoulder on. So as part of the presentation today, really my objective is I want to share with you what I call the 7B framework for successful living. And I feel that success leaves clues, and you can actually get a lot from your own personal experience in terms of lessons learned, but then that will take you kind of your full life to be able to learn all the lessons that you can learn. What I'd like to do is expedite your learning by sharing with you some of the insights that I have gotten from my own experience, other experts as well, and what I consider to be key ingredients as you look to create and design a successful life. Right, so starting with the first one, which is about belief. And this is really about your belief system and what I look at as the foundational building blocks. So key things that you believe around, who you are, why are you here? What do you think in terms of your life? Do you think your life is valuable? Do you believe that you actually deserve success? This is really about your standards and, the beliefs that you are at your core and things that you would be willing to die for. Core principles that really guide your journey on earth. Now, why is this important? This is important in terms of having clarity around your beliefs about yourself and your role in the world, because life is definitely going to get challenging. You're going to get pushed. You're going to get situations where you will feel crushed, which will shake you, surprise you, and where you will really start to question some of the fundamentals around you. And it's going to be extremely important that you have some anchor beliefs that will help to keep you grounded and steady so that you are actually continue to live another day and don't get completely overwhelmed by some of the tosses and turns that happen within life. Now, when you think about your belief system, one of the things that I would encourage us all to do is really consider what are some of your anchor beliefs, right? Take a moment and really start to examine what are some of the beliefs that are really fueling and running your life. And do those beliefs actually help or hinder your success? And I will share from my belief system just some examples so that you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about here. So some examples of my anchor beliefs is, one, I believe that once you're alive, there's always hope. So if you're on earth, you're alive, you're breathing, there's always hope. And I look at Ecclesiastes 9:4, where basically it talks about that same message and says anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better than a dead lion. So obviously a lion is a lot more powerful than a dog, but if it's dead, what use is it? So with life, I believe there's hope. There's always another chance, and that goes into another one of my belief systems where I strongly believe that I am not my mistakes. And as going through life, you're going to make errors, you're going to slip up. I've had failures, but that does not mean I'm a failure. I am not my mistakes. And I believe fundamentally that I'm uniquely valuable to God, and nothing will separate me from His love. Nothing that anyone does, nothing that I do is going to separate me from His love. And that gives me a whole lot of confidence in terms of going through life. Another belief that I have is that I'm here for a reason. I've been blessed with talents, and also there's some accountability there where I'm actually here and I'm expected to contribute positively to the world. So my experiences, my talents, what I've been blessed with is not for me only, not for me to just sit down, feel comfortable. No, I have a calling and I have a responsibility to actually contribute positively to the world. Now, an interesting side of the beliefs as well, which is why I encourage us all to really consider and examine what some of our anchor beliefs are, is that sometimes we can have disempowering beliefs as well. And I will share with you that one of my disempowering beliefs that comes up now and again is a belief that I am not good enough. So feeling that I am not good enough and not worthy, and what that means in some of my actions is it impacts how I look at love, and feeling that, okay, I have to do certain actions, I have to be perfect, I have to really, really be super successful in order for me to be deemed worthy. Now, the good news about examining the beliefs is once I was aware that that is one of my disempowering beliefs, what I can do is I can look at my actions and seeing, okay, I'm acting in a way that's actually not ideal here. I see that I am self-sabotaging. Why is that happening? Okay, I'm falling into one of my old disempowering beliefs that I'm not good enough. But you know what? I have a choice. I can switch the channel and go into one of my more empowering ones. So the good news about belief systems is you have a flexibility to also change them. But again, want to underscore the importance of having those anchor beliefs. Otherwise, you get very much tossed about by life. All right, sounds like somebody may be trying to say something. I just want to see.
No.
Okay, I think it's just background noise. All right, second in the 7B framework for successful living is really around boldness. To be successful, you're going to have to take some risks. You're going to have to be confident, like this man here on the screen, about what you want and going after that. And what I see sometimes, and I see it with myself as well, sometimes we are afraid to make some of the changes that are required to be successful because we don't want the associated attention or questions. We really want to live under the radar. I don't want anybody to ask me why I'm taking this move. I know Paul talked about Crystal going to China. Bravo for Crystal, very proud of her for that. But some of us don't want to take some of these steps. We don't want the questions. We don't want to hear the naysayers saying, what are you going to China for? You're not comfortable here in Jamaica. What do you think you're going to do? You know Chinese? So sometimes we just don't want to deal with all of that additional questioning or second guessing that we may get. So we just live under the radar. Or we may be afraid to offend or alienate anyone with our advancement. And I've seen that also sometimes with success, you find people become jealous. People who you thought were your friends no longer want to be associated with you because you're showing them up. They were fine with you being a friend because you were kind of behind them. Once you start to advance and keep moving forward, oh no, that's a threat now. And so therefore, you kind of afraid to risk some of these quote-unquote friendships. But I want to encourage us in terms of our calling. We're not called to be timid people. We are here to be light and salt on this earth. And there's a lot of work to be done. The world needs people who are passionate, who are looking to contribute, who are looking to make this world a better place. And we have been gifted with a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. And I want to read Joshua 1:9 as well, where it says, from the Lord talking to us, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened, do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Boldness is our birthright, and it is a really key part of successful living. We have to be willing to be bold, take those chances, take the risks, make some change. Next part of the 7B framework for successful living is a blueprint. All right, so I have a dream. I talk about my dream, but nothing is going to happen unless I really put down some measurable milestones and what are the results that I'm looking for. I have to chart that course and I have to track my progress. Whatever I measure is what I'm going to get. If I keep talking about the dreams and whatever, I can feel very nice and comfortable about these dreams, but unless I have a game plan, I'm not going to realize any of it. And there's a quote by Carl Pearson where he says, that which is measured improves. That which is measured and reporting improves exponentially. So a lot of documentation, a lot of research that shows putting a plan together, having milestones, really talking about what are the measurable results, have a significant impact on us being successful and being able to drive results. An added bonus of this is as we measure and we monitor, there's some positive momentum that we get and confidence where we start to see that, okay, I'm actually getting some wins here. You know, I said I was going to do that and I actually did it. Then you have some confidence for the next milestone because you show that, you know what, I'm a person of my word, I'm reliable. I follow through on what I'm going to say. So for my next goal, definitely, there's a slam dunk, going to make it happen. All right, the other part of the 7B framework, number 4, is blind spots. And what we want to be able to do here is we want to ensure as we're looking to have successful lives and drive that inside-out success, we want to ensure that we are seeing clearly. We have to remove the obstacles that are blocking our vision and getting in the way of our forward momentum. And there are a couple of dimensions to the blind spot. One part of that is actually some of the delusion that we have with our own selves, where we don't tell ourselves the truth. So I'll put myself on the spot, give myself as an example. So, you know, I wanted to be a writer. I talked about being a writer. I had a positive buzz about thinking about myself being a writer. But you know what? 5 years passed, I didn't write one paragraph. So what did I have to do? I had to basically tell myself the truth. I will go another 20 years without actually being a writer if I continue the way that it is. So you have to be willing to kind of face the painful truth about yourself and talk honestly with yourself if you want to be able to move forward. So the good news about that is, yes, did some truth telling, had some good support system also with the family, and very happy to say that wrote as part of an anthology and became an international best-selling author last year, which was a major life milestone, and very happy about it. But I had to basically tell the truth to myself and start taking some action, right, versus just being a dreamer about it. So part of the blind spot is the way that we kind of delude ourselves, make ourselves feel comfortable, and we have to have the courage to really tell the truth to ourselves.
Yep.
The other part of the blind spot is that, you know, I may not be able to know everything and see everything either, even moving past my self-delusion. Some of this is being able to have people around you who are also feel that they're empowered to tell you the truth about yourself. And I consider that a key part of friendship. One of the things that I think about friendship is that it takes courage to be a good friend. I don't consider a friend to just be a yes person. You want friends who can actually call you on your stuff and, you know, really tell you what's going on. And you want to encourage people like that in your life. Trust me, to come and give you feedback. I see that a lot in the professional setting as well. People have employees working with them and really uncomfortable for them to actually give positive feedback. I encourage a lot of my mentees and staff that work for me that if somebody is actually giving you constructive feedback, be very open to that. Don't be defensive. People are going to have that view of you anyway, so you might as well hear it from them so that you can expedite your own growth and address the areas of gap. So you want to really encourage people in your life to feel comfortable telling you the truth. The other part of that is that, unfortunately, from a point of view of that, you have to be humble. Sometimes the truth actually comes from people that you don't really want to have telling you that. Sometimes you can actually get really good insights from people you may consider your enemies or people who just don't have a nice way of delivering it. And one of the things that I tell myself is, you know what, not everybody knows how to communicate or deliver a message, but I need to listen for the value. So you may find that actually some pretty targeted feedback may come from corners where you know, you consider that person to be an adversary. But again, listen for the value and, you know, toss aside whatever is not valuable. But a key part of this blind spot, you want to be able to ensure that you're seeing clearly, telling the truth to yourself, and also being able to accept feedback from other people. All right, the fifth part of the 7B framework for successful living is balance. You will go stark raving mad if you do not replenish your spirit. You cannot be go, 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 go all the time. You will burn out. You have to spend time renewing your mind, doing fun activities, taking time for yourself, or you will burn out and become resentful. It's very, very hard for you to then want to contribute and help other people when you're running on empty. Extremely important that we refuel so that we have the stamina to continue going on with passion. And I'll give some examples from myself of ways that I do that. I enjoy spin classes, so I make sure that I get time to do that. Another guilty pleasure of mine is I enjoy binge watching Netflix. Sometimes I may go overboard on that, but that's a nice way for me to relax. I finished watching Game of Thrones, all 6 seasons in 1 month. So not following my example, but just taking the fact that you should find things that actually allow you to decompress, that give you some joy, allow you to refuel. You know, going for nature walks, going to a comedy show, but very important that you carve out that time to refresh the spirit.
Okay.
Other part of the 7B framework is really about breakthrough now. So like as you're going along your journey, you'll find that sometimes that, you know what, I see that I'm successful, I'm consistently achieving, my life is comfortable, things looking good, but there's something inside me where I'm feeling unfulfilled. Like, why is that? And we might even be shy about sharing that with people because they say, well, look at all the things that you have done, etc. How come you're feeling unfulfilled? What's going on? And what I've found is another key part of the success journey is really knowing when it's time for you to level up. And what I mean by that is, when is it time for you to shake things up, make some transformational changes so that you can reignite the passion and move to a new frontier of growth. Again, some examples I will give for that for myself is through some of the personal development courses that I had done some years back. What I realized about myself was that I was born as an adventure seeker, like to take risks, etc. But through some of my high school experiences, because I went to Immaculate High School, I was the only one from my prep school that went there. I didn't know anybody in 7th grade, and so what I told myself there was, I need to do whatever it's going to take to fit in. And so I muted my personality and became more of a people pleaser. And so some of my normal tendency to take risk and adventure seeking was basically muted because I was just trying to fit in. And when I got that distinction and realized that, I said, you know what, I need to change now. Like, yes, on the surface things look like they're going well, but I'm really feeling empty and unfulfilled because I'm not catering to some of my true passion. So once I made that distinction, immediately arranged a bungee jumping trip with good friends of mine, and we did that in California, quickly followed by skydiving. But again, not that you have to go and jump from a plane or jump over a bridge, but there's some times where we have to really do some rapid change, something transformationally different in order for us to shake up the foundation and get growth to happen again. As you can see from the image here, getting some green out of that concrete, right? Out of that asphalt. We need to do something major in order for some type of growth to happen. Final part of the 7B framework for successful living is beyond. And what I want to do is actually read a passage here, which is in Romans 8, 15 through 17. And I'm going to read from the Message translation. And it says, "This resurrection life you receive from God is not a timid, grave-tending life. It's adventurously expectant, greeting God with a childlike, 'What's next, Papa?' God's Spirit touches our spirits and confirms who we really are. We know who He is, and we know who we are, father and children. And we know we are going to get what's coming to us, an unbelievable inheritance. We go through exactly what Christ goes through. If we go through the hard times with Him, then we're certainly going to go through the good times with Him as well." And what I really love about that passage is that spirit of expectancy, where it says, you know, the resurrection life that you received is not timid, is not grave tending, it's really adventurously expectant. We're waking up each day and saying, God, like, what's next, Papa? What else do you have planned for me? You want me to have abundant living? And really my point here is that this is an ongoing journey. Like, we have certain successes, but we're not going to sit down and be comfortable with that. We want to keep reinventing ourselves and figuring out, hey, what's the next step of my journey? What else do I want to do? And keep that growth going. So in summary, as I look at the 7B framework, what I want to be able to kind of reinforce here that, you know, life is short. We want to make that life meaningful. And with looking for successful living, there's going to be some level of friction that we need to do in terms of motion, being willing to take risks, potentially offending people with our success. But we have a greater calling. We're called to be salt and light. We're called to be very courageous. And what I want to leave you with is these kind of 7 key elements which I think are there for designing a successful life. And I encourage you as part of today, as you're listening to all of what I've shared here, is just commit to taking one action across these 7 that you can do to help drive more successful living in your own life. All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you.
I think we're going to be that. And I know we're talking about more, of course, right? But the people can put it down. I think Kerry did a fabulous job as the rest of our speakers. But the 7B which is a framework for successful living, who can tell what Believe speaks to? Quickly. What did you get from Believe? The thought process, anything else?
Show back your screen.
Okay, I'm going to hear that one, but it's all good. One of the things here is that once I have life, I have hope. Very, very good. And she also said that I am not my what? Our M. Mistake part, you know, somebody went to get a nice vehicle when I was in here. Not my mistake, excellent. And there are some disempowered belief systems that she mentioned. One of those disempowered belief statements, rather, is that what? I am what? I am not good enough. Very, very good coming from a sister. He's a one. Then, of course, boldness. What did she say about boldness? What did she say about boldness? Let's talk about bold. Take risk. Very, very good. Excellent. And she quoted a passage. What was the passage that she shared? Joshua chapter 1 from verse 1. Verse 9 alone. Alright, very, very good. You all listening from that one. I want to read verse 7 in my paper right there. Then she mentioned blueprint. What did she say about blueprint? You have to have a game plan. Very, very good. I need to have a what kind of milestone? Pound M. Yes? You're doing well? Next thing, sister. Number one? Measurable milestone. Hey, you know something like an end of a class. And then I move on. A measurable milestone. It's one thing to say, I have a dream, but you need to have a measurable milestone. Excellent. Then you mentioned blind spots. Anything on blind spots? Huh? Is that milestone number yes? I don't need to say anything more. Very good. That is what my brain was. We have volunteers. But anyway, we can move on. Very, very good. That's nice. Remove the obstacles that are blocking our progress. Sometimes we can become self-delusional, and therefore we must be open to critique. We must be humble. Very, very good, Brother Brunel. Then, of course, balance. What is she say about balance? Huh? You know better than balance going. So let me get balance going. What about balance? What about balance? Very, very good. Excellent. Okay, a student inside here. Very, very good. Excellent point on balance there. But there are 2 hours. It's more than 1 or 2 hours. Refresh. Huh? Renew your mind. And why do I have to do it? Then we come down from that. We don't move on though. Then of course, she mentioned something. She said, breakthrough. What did she say about breakthrough? Make what kind of changes? 17. Transformational changes. Very, very good. And her final word was beyond. What did she say about beyond? What did she say about what's like then? That's what I remember. But I remember what's like. What's like that's the one who said what? To infinity and beyond. I can't remember what was like. Anyway, very, very good. What else do you have planned for me? What do you plan for your life? Where do you plan to go? Let us give Sister Carrie Smith another big round. Now, I think we reach another segment. I don't know. Yes? Let's put some question and answers. So, we want to invite, can we invite the speakers to easy at the front so we can answer to the mic? These questions. So, invite speakers to come forward. Please sit along here. And Sister Carrie will be listening. Yes. Right? And we'll pipe in and give us some responses just the same. So, for the speakers, just come up here, and I invite you all to ask your questions. We can be here for another half hour if you want. So, but please feel free to get those questions in. This program was planned with all of us in mind. First question. And who's the director? There's a hand over there.
I don't know what to say.
Brother Smith, when you talk about the facts, they don't believe the facts. Are the facts or just what you believe to be facts?
Well, today, you know that facts are, we have alternate facts and we have so I'm just trumpeting a new position. But what I'm saying that sometimes you just have to look at alternative facts. Yes? So I am injured, I am trained with that I should have trained. Gatlin is running faster than he has run for a very long time. But there's no way I can lose. It doesn't compute. It doesn't compute. Foreman is one of the hardest punters ever. And you're not supposed to stand on the rope. And you go and you actually if you see somebody aiming, six hands actually up and just there go on. Do what you do. And so that's what I mean by the facts, but also the knowing. Remember the theory that I'm saying to you, that the lady could actually be fast asleep and comfortable, feeling secure and the door is open. So it's really in your mind. Yeah? So that's where I'm going. I'm not suggesting that you know when the facts are not in place. But I just wanted to emphasize the mindset that confidence is important. And if you believe, or if you know what I'm saying, then you can step over hurdles. Yeah?
Just want to talk about first and second. The caterpillar thing and calling different stages of the caterpillar. Because I was in the church and this was mentioned the other day, where the minister spoke about caterpillar being very destructive. And that's all he said about caterpillar. Like that, and all it was destroy, so that you don't completely and give you the experience of as in the category. I don't know if that's factor, but thanks for the next balance and the factor and stage. Because of different things. And let church to pray. Because the word was God kept as a Christian and all we do is hear them.
I have a question. Oh, you have a question before? Yeah.
How do you derail a child from the negative that
Carry again.
These are our parents. And the parents,
You hearing?
they have decided not to change how they class the child. Like all that, the hopeless life, where it runs like all those things. How do you help the child?
Oh Lord, help us. I think that is actually where the church becomes a very resource. Because I think one of the problems we have in our society, especially when you're looking at children, is that many of us have not learned how to parent properly. And it's something that stretches across many generations. When you have a cycle of dysfunction, if something doesn't happen to break the cycle of dysfunction, it continues from one generation to another generation. Some kind of intervention has to take place, and a part of it has to be parenting. So for persons who grow up in a particular environment, especially when we have children nowadays who come from certain homes, one of the positive influences that we realize actually comes from the church. When you have children coming to our Sunday schools who come from homes where they are being, talked down to and being described in all kind of other ways, when they come to church or Sunday school as a whole, we have a very good opportunity then to make a positive impact on their life. But it's not something that's very easy to do, because here is it that you are giving them positive things, but when they go back to the environment that they are coming from, they are being socialized at the same way again.
But if you keep doing it often enough, one of the things that happens is that something will stick somewhere. You may never know, it may seem as if it's not going to change at all. And I can give an example. We have four young guys coming to Independence City. And I tell you, they are, when you talk about active times 10. And you know, they are just very disruptive. They have no manners, so they have no own trade. I mean, they are very disrespectful sometimes, you know, they relate to other adults. And we have been having them for the last 6 months. Funny enough, last week we had a outing for them where they carried the skate. And one of the young men came by, you know, he did something. Somebody spoke to him and he heard him. And I said to him, oh, you know, you are the presence of others, so you know, listen. And right there, he said, sir, I'm very sorry. That is a milestone. That is a mountain that has been crumbled because he does not know how to say thank you, he doesn't know how to say sorry, he does not know how to say please. And just that one instant, and that tells me that there is hope. So we have a very good opportunity as a church, and even those of us who have our own homes, who grow our children, sometimes we need to take these children home and to show them that there is another way to conduct and how to do it. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, we have some more questions. Can I go first? Somebody come along with the Alright, quickly. My question is to Sister Dehaney. And it is, you said that we need validation, and many times that validation will need to come from us, from within. How do you motivate a person to have that validation from within? So the camera.
Yes, my question is, fair kind of person. Fair. Right. So I just wanted to know, if fair has a place in the jury process, and yeah, what case is that? Okay. All right. Look here, I'm getting a little bit old, so I will choose to do it one at a time. Lest I forget. All right, so in terms of motivation and validation and it being from within, I want to suggest that, well, Kerry spoke to the matter of our core beliefs and our value system. And I think that each person has to be at a place where they can know that regardless of what is happening outside of them, inside of them remains strong. I think inherent in all of us is something that allows us to survive. And when it comes to being motivated, I think they call it intrinsic motivation. Something has to come from inside of you. Now I believe that something must have gone inside of you first. Something must have had to go inside of you. And so the fact that we want to survive, the fact that we have to survive, there has got to be something inside of us that steers us in a direction to say, I am. I am. You know, to be, I am. And so you don't just drop down every time you come under criticism. You don't give up, you know. If your husband says good looking today, the only day good looking. Don't. what has changed between yesterday and tomorrow. We have to have that inside of us to validate us from time to time. So when the negatives come, we can always reach deep inside of us to stand strong. All right. Now, fear. Fear cripples us and what? Yes, I think fear has a big place in the journey. I think it is sometimes fear why the journey takes so long. I think it is sometimes fear why the journey has taken that particular road. In truth and in fact, just as inherent in us are the things that will make us move forward. Fear has a way of either, what I say, the adrenaline kicks in and it's either fear or fight, flight or fight. And it all depends on your circumstances at that time. But literally in life, fear sometimes makes us make wrong decisions. And it also puts us in a place where we are powerless. And I think the worst thing in life is to be powerless. If you ever think of a child being beaten by an adult and cowered into submission, and the fear of the next lick that is going to get them, make them can't move. That is how it is with emotional fear. It makes us, it bends us, and it makes us bow. It literally kills us. And that is a recipe for failure, failure, failure. So there was one last. Say that. Say it again. I didn't get it fully. How we work on our goals. All right. Okay. All of how we work on our goals can define our success. One of the things about life is that while we set goals, we must set realistic goals. Say, for example, we live in a system where you start high school at grade, when I was going this first form, right? And you go from first form to fifth form. Now, it's likely that your goal is to sit your examination at fifth form, right, when you get to fifth form. Now, you might be a very bright student, and technically speaking, they will allow you to sit some subjects before fifth form. But if your goal is not realistic, where you go to school and you think you're so bright that you are coming, by the time you reach third form, you must do 6 CXC, and you're not ready for one. No, that is an unrealistic goal, and it sets you up for failure. So you have to set your goals in such a way, the objectives in such a way that they are realistic, and that they are achievable within a specific time frame. Yeah. All right? I hope I answered that question. One more. So, Brother Blake? Good.
So, young man, you mentioned that you were not self-paper along with self-paper as a facility and versus but we also mentioned that we also are weary of computers, aware of user. Is there anything or any experience that you could share to identify from vertical somebody who would be a user person, somebody who would be there to help along?
let me see what I answer that. In my case, I know is via employment. We give you 2 examples. When I used to work at this place named Beach Auto Supply Repair Limited, and in Kingston, when I just got to Kingston, there was one of the senior workmen asked me to move one of the vehicles. And in doing that, the operator of the workshop came, saw me in it, and he gave me a good punch. I mean, a serious, almost like a full-man punch. But I was against the road, but I wasn't going to go down. I told myself from there that I know I couldn't stay there too long. I remember one evening, I'm talking about Houston, one evening, I finished my work, I was leaving, one of the senior workmen said, "Sir," they used to call me Grey Jet, I don't know for what reason, but they just give workmen name. So it's a Grey Jet leaving, I had to go back, sat down, not doing nothing, just wait until this other man finished work, then I could leave. All of that was unfair, but for one, I'm a Christian, and there's sometimes things that are not fair, but you pay your dues until better come. And my thing was, I knew I wasn't going to be there forever. I told myself long ago before I got there that there are other things I'm going to do. And so people will use you. I think even in Joseph's case in prison, probably the head prison guard used Joseph to help him monitor some things. But he never knows if I help for Joseph to interpret some dreams so that somebody could come out of prison and remember him. So sometimes you're doing some things, it seems hard, but God sometimes working things out. For me as a Christian and for my belief, I just don't see the immediate. I see things working behind the scene to make things better. I'm answering the question.
Are there any questions for those online? Asking anybody online? Sorry, Azway. Go ahead. Yeah? Okay, good.
This is for our online speaker, Sister Kelly Smith. Could you help myself as well as I suppose I suspect all of us who can help us with this blind spot? Could you give us more information on blind spots? Because if you don't, I know what blind spots are, but I mean, how do you not only avoid it if you can, but how do you prepare for it?
Jerry, you hear that? Blind spots.
Yes, I got the question. Thank you. So the way that I look at the blind spots is, I would say, first of all, it's a given that you will have blind spots. So knowing that's a given that you have blind spots, I think there are 2 proactive things that can be done. One is the self-evaluation portion of it, which is that, even with ourselves, we sometimes lie to ourselves. So when we're looking at what is it that we want to achieve, have regular checkpoints to actually see. This is, for example, this is what I said I wanted to do as a goal. Have I actually achieved it? Or, as an example, this is what I say that my belief system is. Am I living that message, right? Am I walking in accordance with that? Some time ago, I actually was listening to a speaker, and what he said, one of his kind of practices in terms of managing his life, is that he schedules time to think. So like every month he carves out time on his calendar, and that time is just purely for thinking. And I thought that was a powerful distinction there, because a lot of times we get very, very busy with our day-to-day life, and we don't actually take the time to pause and reflect and evaluate. So one part of answering your question, I would say, knowing that there are going to be things that we are not kind of obviously aware of, that would take some level of evaluation. One is spending time to regularly just do some self-evaluation and be willing to be vulnerable and open with ourselves about, am I actually doing all the things that I want to do? Am I keeping my commitments? Am I in integrity around the actions? Am I following through on what I said I would do? So that's one part of it. And then obviously documenting what comes out of that and working to then resolve it. The other part of it, and something that I do myself as well, is that for people that I trust and respect, I regularly try to get feedback from them. So, for example, in this case of this presentation now, right, I will reach out to some folks and say, what did you think? Are there some areas of improvement? Or, you know, we think about upward reviews, right, in terms of managing teams. I ask my teams, you know, not just giving them feedback, but I also ask for feedback from them as well on a regular basis. And just creating an environment around me where, you know, people feel comfortable to tell me feedback. And, you know, in some cases, I think people feel very comfortable, and I'm not always accepting of it, and then I have to tell myself, okay, this is for my own benefit. So 2 examples I would give you to answer that question, which is, one, the self-evaluation, just like candid review of what we're doing. Is our walk in line with our talk? And then the other one is basically getting feedback from other folks, right? Trusted feedback from other people that we're interacting, right? Whether it's interacting from a family perspective, how are you in as a family member, work perspective, volunteer work, and just getting that feedback. Those are some ways. The final point I would add to that is just what I would recommend as well is just reading different materials, new content. There's a lot of stuff that you can get from people sharing their own life experiences or ways that they work on confidence and courage, etc. What I found by reading some of these other materials is that it opens my eye on some distinctions that I was not aware of before, and it broadens my self-examination.
Okay.
Please let me know if I've answered your question.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So I think there's a question actually here from me in the chat, if you don't mind if I go to that.
Yeah, go ahead. I think it's better without the mic.
Okay.
It's better.
All right. So Thompson you're able to hear me, sir?
Talk now. Go ahead, Terry.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, great. So yeah, Thompson is asking where in the 7B framework would perseverance fit? And the way I would answer your question, Thompson, I would actually find that it's not in any one of them. It's actually infused throughout. And the reason why I'm saying that is I'm not suggesting kind of a one-shot type of model here. This is something that is kind of ongoing. So like if I look at the 7 different things, like if I talk about belief or boldness or blueprint, all of these have to continually be refreshed. So where I look at the perseverance is that by feeding into all of these, then I basically have the energy and the will to move forward. So I don't think it's in any one of them. Like I think they all feed into each other, and the resulting impact of that is that I have a will to live, right, and to get up another day and to keep trying. So let me know if it answers your question, Thompson.
Yeah, I think that is okay.
All right, his question was about perseverance. Where does perseverance fit into the 7B's framework? And Kerry was saying it basically fits all through, but it's something that is an ongoing work in progress. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, we have 2 more. One over here. Who come to you?
Okay, is success perception?
Is success just a perception?
And the context of this is, and I remember like the theme of the session, inside, outside,
Inside out.
So sometimes we perceive that something is that we are successful, but it's not necessarily always true.
Okay, Kerry, are you hearing that?
No, I couldn't hear it. Would you mind repeating?
The question is about success, whether if just about a claim, can we claim success when it really is a failure?
Okay.
Can we, I'm just going to repeat to make sure I heard you. Can we claim success if it really is a failure?
Right.
Okay. I guess I have a counter question as well, but I will go ahead and answer it. The counter question I would ask is, who is telling us that it really is a failure? Who is deciding that and putting that that label on it? But to answer your question is this: I think with the mistakes and the failures and the things that we kind of go through, which we're not necessarily as pleased about, where we didn't achieve the goal, the way I look at that is they are chock full of information in terms of insights and lessons that we can use to incorporate going forward, right? So I would look at it as an examination to see, what could I have done better here? What did not work? What were some of the improvement opportunities? Did I act in the way that I wanted to act? And use it more as a way to then incorporate for future learning, right? So I look at it as lessons learned. Now, where I could see that a failure is actually a failure is if I look at that and then say, you know what, that was really devastating. I actually feel my confidence is really shaken, and I want to stop trying, right? That's it, I'm done. I give up. That's where I would look at it as then very detrimental and say a failure is truly a failure if it stops our forward momentum, and if we actually incorporate that into our psyche, as that means that I am less valuable because I made a mistake.
Okay, thank you. You want to say something about that? I think also Leila made the point that there are points of success, and episodes as well. So yeah, it depends on where you are, and also if where you are now is 1% better than where you were yesterday, then that's success. As Kerry saying, as long as you keep moving forward, it's I think you could call that success. Yeah. So yeah, and I think that's an important question, Vivian, because sometimes we look at others and we see people in another place, and as a result of that, we look down on ourselves as not successful, and we compare. And comparison, in a sense, you need comparison in order to sharpen yourself and to aspire, but it can also be a frustrating factor. It might actually cripple you because you're saying, I can't run 9.58, so why should I run? So, yeah. Sister Rennie, I think you might have the last question. How can one move from being small-minded into thinking big? And obviously that's Paul Blake's question.
Moving from being small-minded to thinking big. It begins with having positive influences on our mood. I know for me, when I was younger, I suffered from low self-esteem. And especially growing up in high school, children can be cruel. We all talk about the good old days of high school, but children can be very cruel, especially when you come from a poor socioeconomic background. Having positive influences, I remember one of the persons that helped me. And I tell you, Christianity is a very good thing. And I got baptized in 1998. And one of the first persons away from my parents who believed me was Brother Paul. It was Brother Paul that actually encouraged me to get into ministry, and from ministry to counseling. And having those kind of positive influences, having persons tell you that Brother Renner got the same point, Brother Palmer and doctor, and lawyer. Those kind of influences stick in your mind and tell you that you can move from point A to point B. When you have those things occurring over and over, somewhere along the line you begin to read. Right? And that's why, Fidel Castro mentioned something when he was alive. He said that, yes, Brother Renner. He said, give me a child at age 3, and I make your communist alive. And there's a very important point here. If you start holding children from they are very small, especially with positive influences, they will blossom, will grow into brilliant butterflies. But it comes along with having those positive influences in our lives.
Okay. All right, and that's basically it. One second. I just want to say thanks to the people who have joined us online. There's a Cummins family from Grenada who is telling thanks to the St. Andrew Church of Christ for this opportunity. So just want to say thanks to our online friends, and I know there are people from King's, from the King's Singular Ministry that are online supporting the process, and then we give you thanks for being part of this process. Thank you.
Well, we want to thank the St. Andrew Church of Christ along with our presenters. And so let's give our presenters a big, big round of applause. We want so much that all of our friends and them to turn up and definitely to St. Andrew. Give yourselves a big round of applause. There's a few announcements that we need to make, but the first announcement says that there is around things are available. And there is refreshments at the back, and that we come and serve you. We come and serve you the refreshments. I don't know if that's advisable. Can do that in here? Do not know that. Maybe we can find out the mechanics of this answer.
There's a room around.
As one, and number two, the evaluation form, we ask you to please leave it, fill it out first, and leave it at the front while we are leaving.
I have a text message here from somebody who wants to know where the prize is because they answered all the questions. So
for the prize?
I don't know.
No.
First, they answer all the questions, they want to know where the prize is.
Prize.
If you're on phone calls,
Okay. Well, come and speak to me about retrieving your prize. If I don't remember your faces, I don't, you might not get the prize. But I'm saying, please come and talk to me after.